Reports, an unscripted source of truth, supporting the struggle for international justice daily. Give thanks. Ras. Want to cover something that blew off the table the other day. U.S. files complaint on solar plans from India. The United States government filed a complaint through the World Trade Organization against India because India is using their government in order to supply its people with free energy from the sun. And it says right here that the U.S. is saying, hey, you're limiting our access for our suppliers. But the real deal is, these suppliers are corporations. We know that corporations manipulate the political will. And we know that if the corporations are allowed in the country, all that's going to happen is they're going to manipulate the politics, and then the consumers will never, ever, ever get free energy. So the banks finally said, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, and all these people finally said, all right, we're going to deal with the medical marijuana people. It's taken away from other business, but, what else choice do we have? So now that, they're trying to make it out like it's a big deal, like everybody's supposed to be happy. But if you're a dispensary, don't deal with these banks. Deal with cash. Deal with cash only, because what's the difference? All they're going to do is try to get you more in debt. You're never going to come up on top. You're never going to come up and be one of, these multi-billion-dollar, industry, big box store types. You're not going to. It's not going to happen because they already have the agriculture in place. They're going to be spraying this shit with all sorts of pesticides. You're going to see genetically modified, marijuana, and they're going to have, people putting patents in place for certain types of strands. I mean, that's going to be the big thing. So if you want to get involved in this regulatory industry, you're going to get shut. You're going to be corrupt. The only way you can survive is to be corrupt. So again, this is the herb. The herb comes from the earth. It's not pot. This is a negative term they use for it. Pot is a toilet. Anybody who writes an article puts pot, they're negative about it. I mean, if you go to court for it, does the judge say call it pot? No. So, it's the herb. It comes from the earth. It will always come from the earth. It doesn't matter how much they want to. See, the thing is, they're trying to engineer it so that it's going to provide commerce for them. That's the most important thing to them. But in that sense, they corrupt it. They always corrupt it. It's not going to It's not going to reflect its true nature on the people because. Generally they're going to mix it up. They're going to put it in pictures with women half naked with the marijuana, and basically they just try to corrupt it and make it out to be what it is not. The same way they made tobacco. You smoke tobacco, you're going to be a healthy rancher on the ranch, right? No, you're going to die. Lung cancer, be all wrinkled up, shriveled up, can't even move around. Lord have mercy. So another article is world's kids get fatter, doctors turn to the knife. So, like Saudi Arabia, they say this is 35% obese. And now, for a solution, they're just cutting them up, removing fat. I mean, how disgusting of a world are we living in? I mean, absolutely disgusting. And, these are the solutions with our capitalist society. It's like, yeah, we're just gonna, shove as much food, gluttony, right? Gluttony and greed. And then, okay, we get a doctor, just cut everything out. And then, okay, we're deteriorating health, obviously, because of that. So let's, like, steal some body parts from somebody else and, use them to keep our longevity. Oh, they're working on DNA. DNA gonna perfect everything. We'll be living to 1,000 years, This is the biggest crock of fucking burnt, baked ass beans that I've ever seen. This is, again, Babylon, man. They just keep trying to sell you a dream, and that's all it is. It's a big illusion. It's a dream. NSA says progress made on data plan. So, Keith said, we do have some ideas that we're going to push out for interagencies, then get to the president next week. That's what General Keith Alexander said. Well, look, I thought this guy was supposed to be gone already, but apparently he's not. So, first of all, that tells you something. That tells you something. Second of all, you know, this whole thing about, oh, there was a panel put together and they declared that what the NSA doing was illegal. President Joe Biden, that was just, again, it's just another scheme to get people distracted and to think that President Trump Obama actually doing something. This is just, he's just a face. He's just a face. And, you know, we've been long known that. But how come we always go and vote for that face again every year? People don't have any courage. They can't search inside somewhere, just deep inside, just look and find that little bit of courage, you know. Bring that thing out. I know it's in you. You know, we got to get a third party in there. You know, these people aren't going to give it up. They sold our stuff off to the private companies back in 1979 with the Supreme Court ruling that said, oh, if you make a call, you voluntarily giving your information to that company, Verizon, Comcast, or whatever, which happen to be the largest companies now, and they're oligopolies because they're everywhere. They're monopolies everywhere. They're not just one monopoly. I mean, everywhere you go, every town, city has that cable company. You don't have a choice. What choice do you have? And our service is 100 times slower than places like Korea and Germany, and 4 times the cost, 400% the cost. In other words, they're paying 25% less for 100 times faster internet service than the fastest internet service we're getting here. Part 2 in a minute. Ras Reports. Give thanks.